Hello, I am Mariano Gutierrez Alarcón and welcome to the 12th Man Academy, the show that asks the questions we believe the fans want to know about football. Joining me for this series is well-known and passionate manager Gus Poyet and our voice of the fans, long-suffering supporter Stephen Brown. Together, we will get inside the pitch and hope to answer your doubts about managing at the top end of the game, while we get the inside track of being a top-level football manager. In each episode, we get a better understanding of the thoughts, the decision-making, and the philosophies of a top-level coach, from picking a club captain to tactics and team identity as we connect the fans to the manager. In this series, we reference to past events as we use examples that were happening in the football world at the time we recorded this podcast. In this second part episode, we continue talking about the differences between being a coach or a manager.
I think that the main thing is how you reinvent yourself as a coach when you're too long in a club. Ale Ferguson was a genius on that. When I saw that year that Ronaldo left, I thought, oh, Man United next year, they're going to be terrible. And nothing happened. They won the league again. They reinvent themselves. They switch a little bit, and they done it. One season, I said, oh, they got too many strikers. They won't be able to play Tevez, Rooney, Ronaldo, and Giggs. And they play, and they won the league. And it was always a way of reinventing. Beckham left, and there was no problem. Vidic left, and they said, oh, terrible. Rio Ferdinand came in. You know, they were always able to find a way to reinvent themselves, you know, regenerate the way of understanding Manchester United.
But was that his model as a manager?
Yeah,
his model as a manager and him having a different coach, he changed his coaches. That's what he does differently to everybody else.
But very intelligent. It was in another level. That was he done what he's done. Then you got the other side. You know, I think Arsene Wenger was a little bit different. It was a little bit more a terrible impact, unbelievable players, a very strong squad. They were unbeaten that season. And then Arsenal went a little bit like, okay, now nice and easy. Let's not complicate things. Let's not bring characters. Let's not bring problems. Let's have, nice people at the club. And there were so many years playing nice football, but without winning because they didn't have the character to win. So it was a different kind of approach, but it was a business model that worked unbelievable for Arsenal.
The stadium, perhaps?
But not the stadium. I mean, from the stadiums I've been in the last 15 years, it's the most expensive stadium in the world, Emirates. And people, still go in and still eating and still drinking. And that's a machine of making money. And that's a business model. And then, you sign certain players and you maintain. But they are a team, they try to do things in a certain way. You can agree or not, but it's clear. And this situation, going back to the manager coach, it's not going to happen too much anymore about having only managers. It won't. It won't because it's so unstable, the position, that there is not many owners that they're going to give the power to the manager, knowing that maybe a year and a half later they're going to sack.
How does it work, the model of a sport director?
I think the business model of having a sport director is perfect because you don't know how long the coach is going to be there. And the sport director needs to look ahead of a plan 3 to 5 years. The coach maybe needs to be looking at 1 year or 2 seasons. And somebody needs to be at 3-5, and maybe the chairman needs to be looking at 10 years time. So it's very important, the role of the sport director. Now, the problem is that the sport director needs to understand that he's bringing players for this coach, not for him, for the coach. Even I would say not for the club, because if you bring it for the club, it looks like he's bringing it with his own mentality, for his own thinking. But then it's a coach is going to have it. And we always talk about character. The teams that win the league, normally they have strong characters, leaders on the pitch. And when you see teams that they are not buying the kind of player, and then you don't win things, and the fans, they go crazy, and they kill the manager, and they ask them to leave, when you, as a coach, I ask 25,000 times for characters because we are not going to win. So the characteristics of the player needs to go with the way you want to play football. That's why it's so important when I say to you in October, November, you tell the club, I need this characteristic. I don't need this player. I don't need this name. I don't need this nationality. I need these characteristics.
How much a characteristic in a team can change your philosophy of football as a coach?
Completely.
So do you think that a coach has to adapt to the players, or they can teach the players to adapt to his style?
when you get to a club that there is, let's talk a middle club. Okay? Let's not talk a top club, because the top clubs, they go everything. A middle club, I think there is a 50-50 chance that you need to adapt and the players need to adapt to you, 50-50. Because I start from the goalkeeper. Me, I want a goalkeeper, first, make saves. Second, catch it. Not give every rebound. Third, control the box and come for crosses. And then, if he can play, unbelievable. So if I get to a club that the goalkeeper cannot kick a ball, I'm not going to play from the back. I love playing from the back. I absolutely love. In Brighton, we had, they used to call him play A, B, C, D, E, F. Depending what you do, we were doing it. We were playing from the back all the time. We were killing you. Can you? Because if you're going to give the ball to the goalkeeper and you're going to miss kick it, or he doesn't kick it with the left, or he's going to lose it and you're going to concede, then it's stupid. You are stupid. Well, this is the same. But the main characteristics of the goalkeepers, first, save it. I don't want a football player as a goalkeeper, he cannot save a ball. and that you go through the team. So you get to a team. I like to play football. I like to play from the back. And the goalkeeper cannot play too much, and the two center half, they are not comfortable with the ball. I'm not going to force it. Maybe I'm going to wait until the transfer window, and if the club back me up and give me a goalkeeper with better feet or two center half, then we start developing. But I cannot go there and say, no, we play from the back anyway. You know, that normally you lose your job, okay? Because you're going to play from the back and you're going to lose. It's hard for the coach, because especially when you've done it before. That's why we always talk about Guardiola, which is probably the best, but the best at Barcelona, at Bayern Munich, and at Man City. Not the best at Elche, Lorient in France, and Aberdeen. Because the way he plays, and the way he understands the game, and the quality of the technically that he needs is top.
So the role of the coach is?
The coach get the player from the club and coach. Coach, decide training, pick the players, plan the game, and he does what is worldwide known as the coaching position.
Yeah, most coaches today, they mostly say that they do that they don't have any handlings on the passes, and they, like Conte the other day says, I talk to the club, I ask for my players, they decide, I'm only coaching here, I do not have control of the other stuff.
Yeah, the problem when you start like that, and one thing is clear, it was Benitez before he left Liverpool. Do you remember the last 10 press conference of Benitez, that he was like reading one sentence, I'm here, I'm a coach, and I'm doing the best, and blah, blah, blah. And they ask you a question, say, I'm here, I'm a coach, and he was repeating all the time the same answer. Because you get to a point that, like everybody, you say, okay, enough is enough. I think it would be great that when you sit down and you sign for a club, you got the owner there, the sport director, and the coach, and you put the things clear. And you tell the press from now on, when you want to talk about players, you ask the sport director. And when you talk about coaching, performance, tactics, training, you ask the coach.
So why doesn't that happen? Because I agree. I think there's certain things that you can't ask the coach.
Because of what I said to you, responsibilities.
Nobody wants to take them.
But listen, let's talk about another situation. How many times you heard about this new head of a scout, or this new sport director who he found Mbappe? How many times you heard about this scout or this sport director that spent 150 million and the team didn't win a trophy? Never. Ranieri was the first manager at Chelsea spent 100 million and he didn't win a trophy at Chelsea. And they only talk about Ranieri. I don't think Ranieri was signing the players. And no.
Yeah, because the manager, at the time, he was seen as a manager, and as his responsibility, as it was seen as in Wenger, Ferguson, Clough, that, you know, the generation.
Yeah, but it was like everybody thought it was a manager, but in reality, I'm telling you, it was a coach. You know, the Chelsea was buying and selling players because they were buying and selling players. You know, it was a lot of money there, and they were making decisions as a club. Nothing wrong. When they signed Veron, I was delighted. Then it didn't work. When they signed Crespo, I was delighted, but then it didn't really. So it's many things that happen, because sometimes the connection between player and club, or the year, or the timing, or the manager, it doesn't work. But what I mean is, 100 million was spent, and the club didn't win a trophy. Responsible? Ranieri. Who left? Ranieri. Now, if you spend 100 million and you win, who is responsible? The manager should be responsible as well. No, because the deal or the expenditure. So I always thought that we are a little bit. I don't know if you say the word masochist.
Masochist.
Yeah, masochist. No, we win, and is the owner and the money and the club and the fans and the players, and we lose the money. So we'll have that.
Thank you for listening to this podcast episode, Are You a Coach or a Manager Part 2 at the 12 Man Academy. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to the series, leave a winning review or a 5-star rating on the platform you're listening on. And do not forget to check our website at www.12asintheword-man-academy.com and let us know what would you like to know. If you would like to sponsor this podcast, please email us to sponsors@the12manacademy.com. See you next time at the 12 Man Academy.